Hi everyone and welcome back to the Fusion Industry Association. My name is Dr. Sid Cowley and I work at the intersection of fusion and artificial intelligence at FIA member DigiLab Solutions. Today is Wednesday the 26th of November and I'm here to give you your Fusion News Roundup. Stories today include 1. Zap Energy ramps up the pressure on its latest fusion device. 2. Tokamak Energy announces magnetic breakthrough. 3. Are we finally about to crack fusion energy? And of course, I'll have some bonuses at the end. 1. Zap Energy ramps up the pressure in its latest fusion device. Our first story today covers FIA member Zap Energy, a private fusion company based out of Washington in the US. The company recently achieved a world record plasma pressure of 232,000 psi or 1.6 gigapascals, beating the previous record for Zap's method of confinement. But why does this matter and how did they do it? Well, Zap Energy is pursuing a method of confinement known as shear flow stabilized Z-pinch. Effectively, they treat the fusion plasma like a big wire and pass an incredibly high current through it, squeezing and confining it. Zap has previously made facilities to test this approach, including the Fuse and Fuse Q devices. Recently, however, it developed the Fuse 3 device, which has 3 electrodes rather than 2 electrodes in their previous devices. So, this unique 3-electrode Z-pinch, with more advanced control over the plasma flow and confinement, has enabled pressure in the gigapascal range for the first time in the shear flow stabilized Z-pinch history. And now with a temperature of over 11 million degrees to boot. Now, this is really great progress on the path to break even, since fusion performance scales with something known as the triple product, a product of plasma density, temperature, and a quantity known as confinement time. Since the product of density and temperature is pressure, if you can achieve a high pressure, you're a lot of the way to achieving good fusion performance. Now, though these pressures are high, they're not quite there yet for scientific break-even. And according to Zap, they need roughly another 10 times increase in this pressure before they hit that coveted milestone. But with Fuse Q, Fuse 3, and their test facility Century, I'm sure this won't be the last step in scientific progress that Zap makes in the coming years. And I, for one, am going to keep my eye out. 2. Tokamak Energy announces magnetic breakthrough. Our second story today covers some very exciting technical news from FIA member Tokamak Energy. Now, for those who have been watching Fusion News for some time, you may remember that we've previously covered a test facility from Tokamak Energy known as Demo 4. And the idea of Demo 4 is this. It's essentially a tokamak, a big donut-shaped plasma surrounded by a magnetic cage, but without the plasma. Though that may sound like a weird idea, it's actually incredibly important. After all, Tokamak Energy specialize in high-temperature superconductors, novel magnets that may allow tokamaks to become much smaller, cheaper, more compact through the higher magnetic fields generated. And though Tokamak Energy has been developing their HTS, or high-temperature superconducting tech, for years, they've never really performed a test with a full HTS magnet setup in the configuration it would be for a real tokamak. Until now. Finally, after months and months of dedicated work from Tokamak Energy, the Demo 4 test facility is ready to go, with 14 toroidal field magnets, that's those D-shaped ones, and 2 poloidal field magnets in tokamak configurations. They've already performed successful initial tests with magnetic fields as high as 11.8 Tesla and operating at minus 243 degrees Celsius. That's about 30 degrees above absolute zero. This fully integrated test marks a really landmark achievement for Tokamak Energy and should lead to a wealth of research on how to operate and maintain high-temperature superconducting magnets for fusion. Now, I, for one, am really personally excited about this story. Earlier in the year, I was lucky enough to visit Tokamak Energy and see bits of Demo 4. And I have to say, it's such a cool facility. I can't wait to see what science comes out of it. 3. Are we about to crack fusion energy? Our final story today comes from The Spectator and is one of those great overview pieces on the status and future of fusion. And it's really, really great to see how frequent these stories are coming out. So this story overviews the strides forward in fusion through public sector research, including those made by the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California and the Joint European Torus in the UK. However, the article laments the often multiple decades-long timescales in order to develop fusion devices through public research. And it cites this as a really big reason for the advent of the private fusion industry, to take things a little bit faster. Then the article gives an overview of the private industry and covers many different approaches from TAE technologies, field reverse configuration, to Commonwealth Fusion Systems high temperature superconducting tokamaks, to Excimer's direct drive laser fusion. And one thing I love about this article is it actually highlights 2022 as quite a pivotal year for technology. That was the year Lawrence Livermore showed fusion ignition for the very first time in the lab, a really landmark achievement. In the same year, Tokamak Energy demonstrated ion temperatures exceeding 100 million degrees with their device that's smaller than a car. And this was also the year when ChatGPT was first released. It's really, really cool to see such interesting pieces about tech in general and how fusion fits into this really exciting tech landscape that we currently find ourselves in. Right, well, that's all for our main stories today, but before you go, of course, we have a few bonuses. For our first bonus story today, really, really exciting, COP30 just happened this year, one of the biggest global conferences on climate change. And fusion had a big presence at COP this year. If you'd like to know more, the FIA released a story about fusion's presence at COP. There's some great pictures there. I really recommend you check it out. Our second bonus story today deals with the very exciting topic of construction contract law. But before you click away, there's something really exciting here, I swear. The story is that the Fusion for Energy organization, which delivers a lot of engineering and construction work for ITER, and King's College London teamed up to create a new type of contract model for nuclear fusion construction projects. Okay, might not sound exciting yet. Why is it exciting? Well, we're on Fusion News, and we're talking about contract law. That means fusion really is evolving from a pure science, very theoretical domain to a much more grounded, some may say boring, but tangible one. And I really hope to see a lot more stories about this in the future, things about contracting and IP and insurance, so that it shows that fusion isn't just a science project, it's an industry. Right, well, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and your continued support and love for the channel really means the world. As always, if any stories caught your interest, their links will be in the description. That's all for this week. See you next time.